Oh yeah, it's a live show. Aaron's reading shit live on YouTube.
I'm checking, see if we actually had any see if we had any stuff that was left over from last week. It looks like we
Mm.
do a little bit. So, but I have a couple
Sure,
things.
but we probably have a million things coming in this week. So
It didn't look too bad. I've got a couple things
yeah.
I want to talk about as well.
Okay.
How about you?
I've got one thing to talk
You
about.
want to set that because mine's a show and tell.
Sure. What?
Huh?
What do you want to do?
I said go ahead and do yours because mine's
Oh.
a show. Mine's more of a show and tell. Is what I was trying to get at.
Okay. Well, I'm a little. I need coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee. Something's. Yeah, my brain's not working today.
All right. Well, I mean, I can, Jesus Christ, this is even a bigger shit show than normal.
Yeah.
We
Love
did
it.
we did upgrade our audio visual stuff this week. We
Hopefully, it's an upgrade.
Well, we've been having our eye on Wirecast for some time. It's $500 software. Previously, we used XSplit, which was $5 a month.
Yeah.
And recently, because XSplit started crashing on us and misbehaving in a whole bunch of different ways, we switched to OBS, which is free and had some nice interface things over whatever XSplit, and also allowed us to do the YouTube live stuff a lot. You host these events a lot better, which has enabled us to do. I don't know. It seems like it's a little bit more stable. But it was shit and stability. Like, it regularly crashed, and not only that, but when it crashed, we'd lose all of our audio video settings, which led us to, and not all the time, but like once a week, and we usually start 15-20 minutes before, and suddenly all of our settings are gone, and we're scrambling, and we'd forget to do the audio, or the audio would be off on a delay, or
And we might have done that this week. I don't know. We're just testing it out for the first time. So
right. Well,
if there are audio
using
issues
it for the first time.
if there are audio issues, let us know on Twitter because we can fix them on the fly, maybe.
On the fly, maybe. So yeah, I'm pretty excited though because I started using it Tuesday or Wednesday and quickly found that it's like a lot more solid. It's not going to crash on us, I don't think. It's got actually support if it does. That's another attractive thing. I can actually talk to someone to work through the issue.
Yeah.
And then let me take control. Uh-oh. See, this is bad.
Did our cameras die?
I think our cameras died. When that started happening?
No.
Huh.
They were fine when I looked over 2 seconds ago. It might be something to do with the fucking
I don't know.
recording.
Well, do you want to stop this and fix it?
God damn it.
Because God damn it. This fucking is such a pisser. I don't even have anything selected.
Like I said, first time using it.
Shit.
Our audio is still there.
Yeah, I don't know how to recover from this. There's no way to like reset that's immediately obvious to reset this stuff.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, it might be for some odd reason when I started the recording in Audition.
Do you want to? Here, I'm gonna try one thing real quick. God damn it.
Oh yeah.
Bullshit.
Hey, there's a camera.
All right. Go unplug that one.
What the fuck ever. It's not gonna matter. Nope. Nothing.
So what do we do?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we can just stream the Bald Move logo and stream our voices. I'm still recording the podcast, so.
All right. That blows.
Then hit the Bald Move logo.
Yeah. People want to know. I get
cameras.
Update on my construction. Yeah, get rid of the cameras. Good point. People want an update on my construction process and my son's bed. It's done. This is me putting the final touches on it last weekend. I was violently ill last weekend. This was like late Sunday afternoon where I'd felt good enough that I could actually take a shower and finish this project. But we got the bed moved together. It's kind of neat because it's got like this, everything's kind of like Lego pieces. Like you can see the rails actually fit in these little slots that provide it some good lateral stability. And then there's the actual dead completion. The only thing missing is the ladder on this picture. But previously he had a big mattress just laying on the floor. And it was taking up more than half of his room. So now he has, quote unquote, so much more room for activities, and he can get all his Lego stuff set up, and he's pretty happy about that. So mission accomplished there. That's the thing I want to talk about. What do you mean?
That screen does not send audio. Whatever the fuck this logo thing is.
Okay, so we can't do that.
Awesome. What a great live stream.
That's easy to fix, though.
Pan 50%. I'm not getting any.
You can mess with the channel.
Let's see what left is. That looks better.
It looks like it's going over both channels now.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Audio should be fixed. Video's a shit show.
Yep. So,
yeah. Actually, we just both put on our Riddler costumes. Now, this is what we look like. Speaking of Riddler costumes, I was thinking about trying to develop a signature look. You know how like Steve Jobs has a signature look?
Oh, sure.
Or like Vinny on Giant Bomb stuff has a signature look. It's just like a V-neck black T-shirt with jeans. I feel like I need a signature look. Like a look that I don't have to ever think about, that just kind of people see it and they're like, oh yeah, that's Jim.
Jeff Davis in Harmontown, his signature look is just suit all the time.
Suit?
You never see him not wearing a suit.
Yeah, everybody has that, right? That's like the most common signature look.
I feel like it's definitely something to remark on. Like if you meet a guy at a bar and he shows up in a full suit, dressed in a nines.
In our circles, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like universal signature look.
Right.
Like an Elton John. You see Elton John, you fucking know that's Elton John.
I mean, but it's not it's certainly a signature look or signature style, but it's not. I don't think that's what you're going for, right? You're wanting to do like.
I want something that's not
because he
maybe as
about
involved.
That.
Yeah,
he rolls out. Elton John rolls out of bed, spends an hour or two thinking about what edifice he is going to erect today.
Yeah. All right. I'm getting conflicting reports on our audio here.
Okay.
But who knows?
Is it what's conflicting? Like it's not working? It's still only left or right?
It might be only left. Eric's texting me, telling me things are fucked up. You know what? That's just how it goes this week.
Yeah.
I think we're done fucking with it.
Yeah. Like I said, it looks like a stereo going out. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but I also don't know why the fucking camera stopped working.
Yeah. So I don't know. Signature look. What do you
want to unplug your camera and just be your camera just be me? Because I think my camera works.
But nothing happened when I unplugged that one.
No, but watch this.
Yeah. It's you know what it is? It's probably a bandwidth issue. Because when I turned on nobody wants the audition anyway. Recording. That's when it crapped out. I bet the bandwidth on our USB mics. Or a USB interface.
Well, this thing I did notice it's a lot more sensitive because we tried to fire up the third camera and we're running into issues we never had with any other software before. So I don't know. We're gonna have to get on the horn of support on this.
Yeah, or stop using an amateur solution for a professional setup.
Well, that's not gonna happen.
No.
So okay, this reminds me of the burrito thing from last week. You're a friend of Jim's, but you prefer Aaron. And so did the cameras.
The cameras what does that mean?
That was the challenge response we're going to have for the burritos.
Oh, right.
Say, are you a friend of Jim's?
See, yes, people are going to come up and say that to me, and I'll be like, well, that was a rude thing to say. Why did they say that? Because I will have forgotten.
And I will be right there, and I'll be like, here's your burrito, because I haven't forgotten shit. I haven't forgotten shit. Yeah. And then I think the non-hostile one is something along the lines of I believe in the future of self-driving cars.
Right.
You go up and say that, then that entitles you to a free burrito.
Yeah.
All right. So, did you actually have something you want to talk about?
Yeah, that was it, man. I'm trying to develop a signature look. What do you think it should be?
Okay. Where is your? So what? How are you? How far are you in your development?
This is the first I've thought of it.
It's a red question mark. I like it.
It is.
I like it. It's enigmatic, like the man himself.
Yeah. I mean, is that it? Do I just need to go with a Riddler costume? That seems a little audacious.
Well, what are you? Are you wanting to be stylish? Are you wanting to be
Not
easy care? Are you wanting to be comfortable?
So I want it to be both of those last two.
But
things.
you're not going to like sweatpants, yes or no?
No, God no.
Okay.
I mean, I want it to look nice. I just don't want it to have to think about it a lot, and I do want it to be comfortable.
Are you going to go with like some kind of chino pants?
That's not really my style. But maybe I need to change my style for the sake of the signature look.
I mean, because like I feel like your
maybe
signature look is jeans and either t-shirt or hoodie. At this point.
Yeah, but that's everybody's signature style. Everybody I know is jeans and a hoodie.
It works.
Or jeans and a button-up. Like
it works. I mean, that's
it
the
does,
startup
but it's
style.
not. But it doesn't. You don't think, oh, that's Jim. If you see a guy in a hoodie and jeans. You just think that's a guy in a hoodie and jeans.
Fedora.
Fedora's played out. The hipsters killed that.
I think you can play it back.
Bring it back, yeah.
Play it in, yeah.
What about like a bowler? Yeah, there we go.
Bowler, sure. A little spot of the old ultra-violence.
Yep.
Suspenders.
Bowler and a
suspenders. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't see you as a signature style kind of guy. I see you as
because I don't have one.
Because Steve Jobs, that's not a signature style. That was him just being lazy.
But
lazy,
it became his signature style, right? But that turned into his signature style. I mean, you think black turtleneck and jeans, you think Steve Jobs.
Okay.
Period.
All right.
There's no one else. When I think V-neck, black shirt, and jeans, I think Vinny.
I mean, V-neck and T-shirt. That's almost and Vinny. That's a little Jersey Shore for my taste.
Yeah. Well, he's from the area.
Is he what was it, the gym laundry tan?
Yeah.
Does he ever get a gym laundry tan on?
It doesn't seem like it. He doesn't really look like the gym laundry tan kind of guy. Maybe the laundry.
Yeah.
Not
the gym.
Not the gym, not the tan.
He takes the G and the T out of GLT.
He does. So yeah, if you want to send in some signature look ideas, do #BaldLunch on Twitter.
Okay.
I'll pick them up.
Shall we get to the Q's and A's?
Yeah, sure.
I'd like to get caught up this week. My God. All right. Pico Rock. This is last week, and we'll get on to this week. So, hey guys, I'm in the process of listening to all your Bald Move episodes in original order. And on the Shining Commission, you said you were surprised it had not been rebooted.
What episodes?
All of your Bald Move episodes in original air order.
Everything we've ever done.
He says all of your Bald Move episodes.
You're
in original
insane.
Order.
You're absolutely. That's going to take you years.
Said the same thing about Cecily in Harmontown, and she's only 30 behind now. So
yeah, but we looked, and we have. Was it over 1,200 or 2,000 podcasts?
I don't know, a bunch.
It's insane the number of podcasts we've done, and they're all marathons. None of them are. Here's a 15-minute episode.
Right. Yeah, I know.
So that's an hour and a half of your life.
Oh, he said bald movies. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Bald movies.
Okay. That's more
doable.
Reasonable.
That's an achievable goal.
Gotcha.
He's on Shining, and we said we're surprised it hadn't been rebooted. If you had a chance to reboot something, what would it be? We get asked this from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any? I mean, so I'm thinking of things that the prime thing of a reboot is something that just wasn't quite ready, culturally, technologically. It just wasn't ready for prime time.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess by that criteria, I would like to reboot Firefly, because I think that's a solid.
Yeah.
That's a solid concept, and The Expanse kind of scratches that itch, but it's not as fun.
Mm-hmm.
But just a ship's crew getting into adventures and misadventures.
Yeah,
sharp writing. It's capable of being goofy and fun, but also of taking itself seriously and delivering the emotional. And science fiction, I think, is something that is underserved nowadays.
Yeah,
you've got The Leftovers and you've got The Expanse. And that's those.
And The Leftovers is really only sci-fi in its premise.
I mean, it's
but
sure.
Other than that, there's not, nobody has bionic eyes.
No, it's science fiction and the Larry, and the Larry Niven or the Ray Bradbury short story sense of the word.
Right.
So I would go like Firefly.
Okay.
I think it's too, and also I think it's too late to actually grab the original cast. I think they've all moved on, and they're all bordering they're all bordering on Star Trek 6 being too old for their thing.
Yeah, I think about when I hear people say that, I think about like Rocky Balboa, which in my opinion is maybe the best of the Rockies.
Okay.
And Sylvester Stallone is 100,000 years old in that.
Sure.
Like, you could still do it. It would just fundamentally change what the show is, right?
Okay.
I agree, like, you couldn't just pick back up where Firefly left off with the actors again, but I don't know. You could do something with it. And I think it's probably a good one. Along the sci-fi angle, maybe Red Dwarf. Red Dwarf was a cool show that was maybe a little cheesier than it needed to be.
Uh-huh.
It was a British show, so I don't even know if it came over here in the way that it should have. That one, I don't know. I might be interested.
Are you watching that?
No, I watched it like a long time ago.
Okay, because its rep is that it's kind of almost Hitchhiker's Guide. It's goofier.
It is, yeah.
Than you'd expect from your standard sci-fi.
Yeah, that might be cool. I don't know.
Okay, Hatorian from Singapore. So you just won the presidency in 2020. The U.S. is tired of spending $600 billion a year on defense spending and decides to cut that in half, giving you $300 billion in annual budget to do as you please. What would you do with it? Would you give the 27 million adults age 18 to 24 a $10,000 a year college budget, or something else?
Oh, something else. I think a basic burrito income.
Basic burrito, guaranteed burrito.
Guaranteed
income.
burritos for everyone. Yeah.
GBI.
Right.
Or it's GBB, guaranteed basic burrito.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a serious question, and I don't know how to answer it because I haven't, to be honest, the things I think this country needs most, which are, freer education, and I think college is maybe too late to start. Like, we need to do something about, elementary through high school education, and healthcare. 600 or 300 billion wouldn't do it, wouldn't get it done. So, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not a policy wonk enough to answer that question. So sorry, that's disappointing. Maybe that's one of these days. I'd like to find out a way to figure out how to do a non-political political podcast, something that's policy oriented, but hopefully is not political. I don't think it's possible.
I don't think it's possible.
That's the kind of stuff I'd like to spend, actually take and do a whole episode, do some extra research on. Adobo 1148. Do we have a favorite Bill Paxton performance? I do.
Favorite.
Wait, when you get it, tell me, and then on 3 we'll say it at the same time because I want to see if it's the same.
I mean, sure.
All right, you got it?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, Twister.
Weird Science.
Oh, weird. Okay.
I almost went Twister, but I like him when he's being kind of silly.
It's funny because, every single time I throw up, which is not often because I hate doing it, but I did it this weekend.
I don't think not liking it is actually going to help you do it less.
No, that's where you're wrong because as I was up all night Saturday, I did research on this, and anti-emetics, people that are actually have a phobia of throwing up, vastly, like it's been years since I've thrown up the last time.
According to what?
I just was doing research on vomiting and like how to stop it and how to never do it again. And there's a psychological thing that apparently the people that are afraid of throwing. Because here's the thing, like I have partially detached retina throwing up. I have broken blood vessels under my eyes. I have it's like
the next one might kill you.
I know, like evolutionary, like I don't have it all figured up. Like I feel like I'm getting squeezed from both ends, and it's terrible.
Wow.
It's choking and racking, and it just won't ever stop. So every single time I'm getting the it's going to happen, I always think of his Big Brother performance where he catches them there and they're drunk and they're hungover, and he's like, "Oh, why don't you imagine a big greasy pork sandwich served in an ashtray?" And it makes it get. I always think of that just before I hurl.
Yeah.
And thank you, Bill Paxton. But no, Twister Bill Paxton is my favorite.
It's
Bill
probably
Paxton.
I'm sure it's probably his best performance that I've seen. But
how many leading man roles has he had?
Not a ton, I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, the only things I can think of that I've seen him in are Twister, Weird Science, Aliens. Which
yeah, it's Aliens.
Okay.
Game over, man. I always think of like when Philip Seymour Hoffman, which is also in Twister, is talking about like his configuration before he became the button-down meteorologist, the Extreme.
I
always think of him as that character, like the Hicks character. Is it Hicks?
Yeah, I think so.
But that character from Aliens.
Right.
Like, you know, he's just as he's drunkenly hurling at the tornado, he's like, yeah, taste this, man.
Yep.
So there you go. Good question. Let us see. Trying to go through the file.
The Rock says #bald lunch from living in Indiana. Have either of you been to the Indy 500? I have been to a whatever it is, like Carb Day or something. It's the preliminary like qualifying thing before the Indy 500.
Have I been to the Indy 500? Oh no, actually there's 2 years in a row where I sold programs.
Huh.
One of the Chatton boys got in this thing where like it's weird. Like you would go and give this guy in his room $20 or $40 or something, and he would give you a case of programs. And you took that case and you went wherever you wanted to go, and you set up shop and you started screaming programs, and people would hand you like 5. And it's somehow like you kept like essentially they charged you enough that they didn't give you shit what you did with the case.
Right.
You got to keep the money, and you weren't allowed to charge. I think they had some way to monitor that. But like we made several $100s a day, which was a lot, and I was like 13 or 14 at the time.
Yeah.
But his dad had gotten in that because he did like transportation for the 500. He got some line on that, and he got all of us, a lot of us witness kids that gig. Now, the other benefit I remember is I think this was after the snake pit had kind of been tamed. Because it used to be like, you know, women to go around topless, and there was all kinds of drinking and drug use and all that stuff in the infield area of the Indianapolis 500. But still, there was a lot of women flashing their tops and stuff, and you know, it was all a crazy experience for teenage me. And I also made a bunch of money. I felt like a pimp. But I actually haven't been there to watch one. I have been to a couple of the Brickyard 400s in NASCAR, which is always an asshole of August and just miserable heat stroke hot.
Yep.
And I've been to a bunch, 2 of the MotoGP motorcycle races, which were a blast. And I think one year my company got suites right on the turn 3 or whatever corner, and it was really, you could see all of the inside, you know, chicanery track, and then the straightaway and all that. It was really cool.
When you open up the program, you take a look at it, does it just say, here's the circle, and these cars, they're going to go around it for 500 miles? Dude,
it's like they've got a page or a page and a half of every driver with big picture. Like, you know, there's always 40-some cars, and it's all, and it's the sponsors and history of the track, and, you know, Mario Andretti's retiring this year for real. And I think Gordon Hancock was the guy who's retiring the year, and they had a big tribute to him. You know, you're right. The event itself is all...
Like, there's one page for it, right? It just says, like, here's the track. They're going around
there's a bunch of track facts in there, too.
It's 500 miles long. That's it.
It's a huge loop. It takes up most of Indiana.
What is it, like 2.5 miles?
2.5 miles, yeah.
So they do a million laps on that.
They do. I think 200.
I met Ari Lwj&A.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think one of my teachers dated him. Or, you know, probably slept with him. She told us she dated him.
I got to meet Gordon Hancock. And so, because this is one of these coincidences where he just kind of, and I was a fan of his until he retired. But my dad took me to Carb Day, and I was like 7 years old, and he took me to the Indianapolis 500 shop. And he's like, you can buy one of these like plastic replica cars. And they were like, you know, a pretty good sized car. So I picked, I liked, he had this STP red, white, and blue car, and it was the fucking sweetest one. So
Stone
I got
Temple
it,
Pilots, yep.
And I'm looking at it, and it had the exactly Stone Temple Pilots car. They'd sponsored it 10 years before they'd actually formed. And he had, had the like, his name inscribed in the cockpit, and it was like all this cool. So I'm sitting there and holding it in the stands, and turns out he was doing his lap as soon as we sat down. And not only that, but like on his final lap, he like held his hand out and like waved to the whole crowd.
High-fived you as he went by.
No, but I'm like, okay, so I'm in the tank for him. And like 2 weeks later, I was reading an article, or my dad showed me an article about him. And it turned out that he had guessed because the guy asked him about waving. He's like, oh, that's a real crowd pleasing movie. He's like, actually, I got fuel on my glove and I was holding it out to like to try to dry it out before my next lap. So
wow.
It's like,
wow.
All right.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Let's move on to Murder Row 9. I'm coming to you guys for collective wisdom as I am in need of some life advice. I recently started a new job at a small investment bank. I've been trying to break into this field for a while, and I'm pretty excited about landing the new position. However, when I got my offer letter from the firm, my starting salary was a little less than what I was expecting, but I decided not to make it a fuss. However, after being with the new firm for a while, I've come to learn that my colleague, who is the same title as myself and had a starting salary significantly higher than mine, like $15,000 a year, which for a junior level person is a lot. Sure, but $15,000 is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
You could buy my car like 5 times for that. For all intents and purposes, we essentially came into the firm with the same level of experience. My colleague had a little more, but mine was much more relevant. My question to you guys is, what should I do about it?
Kill him.
I really feel like I should go back to the head of my group and ask for an adjustment of salary. These situations are always awkward, and people on both sides often mishandle them. Since I know Aaron worked in the corporate world for a while and even managed a number of subordinates, I would love to hear your guys' take. Mike from New Jersey, Murder Row is.
There's got to be a way you can get him out of the picture, and then just basically usurp his salary.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm thinking. You'll have to do double the work, but
yeah,
you'll get twice the salary plus $15,000.
My buddy Nick told me, and he's a font of wisdom. He's a consummate salesman. He said, everybody makes their own deal in life. And he's probably quoting Scarface.
Probably.
Knowing Nick. Because everybody makes their own deal in life, and you can't really be mad about that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I always try to studiously avoid learning what my colleagues are making. But the thing is, I think it's too late to fix it now. Maybe you can come in when you're up for your raise. But if you came in like you just got hired and you're not even there a year to ask for another raise as a manager, I would be slightly miffed because the reality is they've set their budgets and they kind of got that stuff locked in probably now, and they had so much to spend on these positions, and this guy got a bigger slice of the pie because he. You know, when they came back with the offers a little less, he might have negotiated it. Who knows why they valued him higher? Could have just been that you didn't make a fuss and he kind of sniffed at it and they wanted you both. Like it's tough, but I don't think it's something you can fix right now. It's something you can keep in mind for your first annual performance evaluation. To kind of have them, but also like you're in a tough position because what are you going to do? Say this guy's making more than me? Like, that's kind of bad for him. How did you find out? Like, that's something that companies obviously don't like to, at least the company, at least the kind of companies you're working for, they don't exactly encourage that behavior. It's not like Walmart
mm-hmm. where,
everybody's getting paid within a nickel of each other. So
right.
I would say next time negotiate a little harder, or the other thing you could do is get a year's worth of experience, and if you don't get joy on the next just start looking elsewhere, because now you got a year's worth of experience. Crush it and get a reference and move on.
Sure.
But I don't think it's going to be a good look to go back with your hat in hand looking for more money. I don't know, but that's my perspective as a hirer and manager of people. Wish I had something better to tell you. Michelle from California. Hey, Jim and Aaron. Wonder if either of you have seen This Is Us. It's on NBC, so I know it's not your norm, but you are truly missing out on one of the greatest television shows to grace the airwaves in the past 20-plus years. Am I really?
Oh, boy. What is it?
Am I really? So I looked up, and I saw a review that said it's taking the heartstring-tugging family drama baton from Parenthood.
Are you talking about This Is Us?
This Is Us.
Oh, okay.
And I got it. I mean, there's some people like for example, my good buddy D in the forums, she hates The Godfather, and I'll never ever ever understand that. But yet she otherwise has a perfectly functional taste in entertainment. I don't like Modern Family. I don't like Parenthood. I don't like that kind of like heartwarming tug stringing real look at what a family looks like. That does not appeal to me whatsoever. It's kind of like torture porn. Like, it could be the best torture porn ever. It could be Eli Roth's Green Bush blazing. I don't care. I don't like it. I don't want any part of it. So like, I'm just the wrong guy to comment on that. And he's even worse.
Who's that? The question mark to your
the
left?
Question mark. The red question mark. That's his face right now. Like, what?
Yeah, that red question mark guy. I don't know about him.
So
it's a tough sell for me, really, on any show, because like, what needs to happen for me to pick up a show is I need to be told by people that I trust and people that I'm familiar with their taste that a show is really good. Mm-hmm. That's the only way you're going to get me to watch something that I haven't already checked out myself, or like, a trailer online that looks really good, right, or just like reading about it in general and saying, hey, that sounds interesting. But like, right, I'm never going to get that from the internet, because the internet has such a wide opinion base.
Sure.
And I don't know any of these people personally. So it's like, well, okay, you say this is great. Maybe 100,000 other people on the internet say it's great, but it might not be, or it might not be great for me,
Right.
And I have no way to evaluate that, because I don't know,
like David Lynch,
who you are. Or
no one's going to say David Lynch isn't a fantastic producer of film.
Right.
You hate his stuff.
Right. Yeah. So plenty of people will tell me that, but if they don't know me and I don't know them, then their opinion, essentially doesn't help me decide at all.
I find that I'm like getting almost like this panicky, sullen resentment about television, because like there's too much of it, and all the time people are wanting us to watch. Like, someone was just suggesting that we watch Twin Peaks, and I look at the air date and I just laugh bitterly. Like, in the middle of Leftovers, Fargo, Better Call Saul, there's no effing way. Plus, this guy hates David Lynch. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
I will probably watch it, but like, I found myself saying that so much, and there's just no fucking way. Like, the season 2 of Love drops this weekend that I absolutely have been dying to watch, and I'm going to, but like, and I just recently inhaled The Expanse. Like, I can't watch everything. Right. It gets to be just too much. It gets to be too much.
I mean, it's not even possible. It is literally impossible to watch everything that people say is good on television. Right.
Which is why eventually,
not to mention movies.
Eventually, I'd like to build Bald Move into a network where we'd have people that you like and trust for things like This Is Us.
Right. This is why I listen to like Giant Bomb stuff, is because I know them, I know their tastes, and I know what I like. And when they recommend something, I can evaluate. Okay, well, this is Jeff. He clearly doesn't like these types of games, or he likes these types of games, and it can inform what I play.
Yeah.
But with just randos on the internet, it doesn't do anything. Doesn't move the needle.
Right. Okay. Do you have any? I don't want to steal your thunder on Twitter. Do you have any more Twitter thunder?
John Miller, question about Better Call Saul season 3. #Bald Lunch. BCS 3. Many possibilities for Cinnabon Gene. Forced to go on the run. Gets caught. More screen time in general. Would you complain? I guess he's asking like which one.
So what are the options?
What we think about. He says forced to go on the run. Gets caught. More screen time in general. I don't know what you mean, more screen time in general.
Well, Cinnabon Gene,
specifically for Gene.
For Cinnabon Gene.
Yeah.
I think they should keep the black and white cold open every season until the last season, and then either the cold open fades the color and then we have a whole season on that, or maybe the final episode or the final 3-episode arc is going to be color Gene getting out of his trying to either reunite with God damn it, what's his girlfriend?
Kim.
Is it Kim? I want to say Amy for some reason. Reunite with Kim, or visit his brother in the old folks home because he's paralyzed by some kind of thing, or like some kind of wrap up is where I kind of see this.
Yeah, they have to. I mean, teasing these black and white scenes There's no way they don't go to it eventually.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that Peter Gould and the Villigan have the Ghoul and the Villigan have some kind of in game for that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's probably the big, like they've got in mind the final scene for Cinnabon Gene.
Probably.
And it rhymes just like that. Darwin Fishy said, do you guys cut your own hair or do you go somewhere to get it cut? If so, how often do you get the haircut and do you use any styling products? Boy.
Wow.
I should get, I used, when I had my own house, I frequently cut my own hair because it's easy. You just put a one guard and run all through, and I'd go like every other time to get like the back squared up and you know have a girl wash my hair, such as it is. Since when I moved to the apartment, that's just such a filthy getting hair everywhere kind of procedure that I stopped doing it, and I started going to a woman to buzz my hair, and I found it took me a while to find one that like had a good. Because that's my thing is like I have a certain amount of like I like my stylist to talk to me, but to a certain point.
Sure, yeah.
Like some people, it's like I feel like it's a shared therapy session, and that kind of wigs me out. It's like yeah, it's nice that you remember that I have a kid, and like you ask questions about that, but then like it's also nice to be able to fall into a comfortable silence during the process.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't.
But a complete silence is pretty awkward.
Complete silence is pretty awkward too.
Yeah.
Although I'd prefer that other than like chatty cat. Or the worst is when they're chatty Cathy and they only talk about how bad their life is. I had one that's like, oh, this is the worst. This is the worst.
Yeah.
Like it's bumming me out. And I never went back to her again. I guess like the other thing is like, oh, you're only considering women. Like I mean, I've never had the option to get my hair cut by a guy unless I want to go to a barber
Every day
shop.
of your life, you've had the option.
Well, but I mean, every place I've gone in to try a place, it's always been nothing but women. I've never seen a male stylist. Now, I could go to a barber shop. That's probably what I should do.
Yeah, I mean, if you go into like any decent, like I would say high-end, mid-range to high-end salon, it's like there are men or women to choose from. You can pick whoever you want.
Well,
like,
that's my problem. I don't go into.
I know you go into fucking
salons.
sports cuts and shit like that, but yeah, I go over to High Five, which is a salon locally. Sam, actually a dude, cuts my hair like once a month. Mm-hmm. And I don't like get the full cut every month. I get the full cut like twice or once every 2 months, and then I get it just like cleaned up once a month. Because if not, I look like a shaggy dog.
Yeah, I do like every 4 to 6 weeks because whenever like I have a cowlicks on both sides of my head, and when it gets long enough, it starts to kind of like poof out, and that's when I know it's time. It's like a turkey timer. Okay. When the hair pops out on both sides, I start looking like a koala.
You gotta beat it back into shape.
Time to go and get it blasted down to stubble.
Yeah.
So I mean, I do think that like my son, I started taking him to a salon because his mom was just taking him to Great Clips, and it's just rolling the dice whether you're going to get someone who knows how to cut hair or not.
Yeah.
And last time he had a particularly bad haircut because he's got the same thing. If you clipper cut too far up on his side, it just sticks straight out.
Right.
So I took him to place and had him actually styled, and we got some like styling paste, and I taught him how to, and he's looking like pretty fresh nowadays. But if you have hair,
you can kind of see it in the little bit in the photo that you showed earlier.
Yeah, he's Darwin here says he cuts his own hair because he's in a long-term relationship that apparently doesn't care, and it doesn't matter for his job. So it's like, I mean, that's the thing.
Is that his signature look?
I mean,
self cut hair.
Speaking of my buddy Nick, like when he's trying to take me under my wing after I got divorced, and he's trying to give me all these tips about like, because he's like always like dresses to the nines, and he goes and he'd have his beard line done by this Persian woman that had like this little thread, like she just snapped the hairs out of his cheek, and like he wanted me to, and I'm like, dude, I'm a significantly different cut of man than you. Like you can shine this turd up, and it's just not gonna like. Some of my appeal is a certain rough hewn sort of lumberjack kind of thing.
Right.
And he's like, okay, yeah, I see that, but yeah, like styling like that, I don't have any. I grew my hair out long for Cecily when we first started dating again, and after like a year and a half of that, she's like, yeah, you're right, you look better with a buzzed head.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I agree.
I'm like, I used to have a great head of hair. It just all went away. So, you got another one?
Sure. Let's see. Should I read my own tweet?
Sure.
Nope. Sarah Knight says, #WildLunch, you going to the Game of Thrones convention. I assume she's talking about Con of Thrones, and the plan is yes.
Yeah.
We are going to be going to that at the end of June.
Yeah, and we're going to be, there's actually a bunch of, like, we're going and we're doing panels and stuff.
Yeah.
We haven't got all the details, and we can't really talk about it, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be an amazing good time. If you guys are hearing any of this, there's some like heavy duty construction going on the floor below us. Guys are using sawzalls and pulling cables out and whatnot. Just keeps getting better. Keeps getting better, this lunch. Jazz and a Mawa from DC. Are you guys going to watch Iron Fist on Netflix?
No.
No. I will probably watch an episode or two just because I am interested in MCU, and also like I've heard nothing but terrible things about the guy who is the Iron Fist is Sir Loras from Game of Thrones, and I guess he's comically bad at fighting, and this guy's whole thing is he's an expert fighter.
That sucks.
And he doesn't wear a mask, so like, I was reading Sepinwall's reviews, and he's like, Daredevil, Charlie Cox does a lot of his own stunts, but also when the going gets tough, his stunt double comes in, puts on the mask, and starts kicking ass. When this guy's got this face hanging out the whole time, like it's just undercrunk, bad kung fu action, and
wow,
that sounds like if your superhero ability is beating people up with your fists and you can't do that, that's some broke dick shit.
I mean, it sounds like some bad casting, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe they just thought they could fix it in post.
Or maybe the guy just didn't take the thing seriously. Like, what happens if you cast like, oh, we're gonna get Sir Loras, and he's got some geek cred, and he's handsome, and all he's got to do is teach him how to fight, and he just like, nah, fuck that. Nah, I don't know. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, all of the Marvel's things have had their flaws and pacing, and I've heard the rep of this one is like they don't even start strong. It just is bad pacing and goofy dialogue and shitty action from the jump.
Maybe they'll pull a Game of Thrones and recast him in season 2.
So, I mean, sometimes you got to cut your losses. Like, if he's going to be the fifth leg of the Defenders or whatever, like that's and I don't know whether it's poor direction or poor choreography or the guy's not taking the role seriously, but you got to do something.
I mean, some people just aren't coordinated enough to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And if he's not, then he's not.
Right.
There's nothing you can do to change that.
Right. Have a big the in between season plots is he had a face transplant because he got magma on it or something. You got another twit?
Andrew Statler says, "How worried are you guys about all the shows stacking up in March and April?" #BaldLunch.
I don't
know. Not crazy worried. I mean, 3 is pushing it for sure.
And then the only saving grace is their Sunday, Monday, Tuesday shows. Like if 2 of those were Sundays, boy, that would be rough.
Yeah.
But it's going to be certainly like from Sunday night to Wednesday night, I'm going to be pretty wiped out. But then, you got the 2 days after that to kind of like do making men, to do business stuff and do the
but not really
side bald move stuff.
We still have commissions. We still
have
bald movies. We still have lunch. We have I think Riverdale.
Riverdale
over by then.
Yeah. Legion will be gone by then. So
it's
not too
worried,
gonna be, but it's going to be. I mean. It's all in perspective, right? Because I used to do Game of Thrones and Mad Men on the same day when I had a full-time job. And nothing will suck more than that sucked. But then, now...
But you had a full week to recover.
And I wasn't doing instant cast and then a cast and a spoiler cast. Right. And like, that's the other thing about the Game of Thrones is it comes and tags you back on Friday. And I take a lot of research and it takes a lot of time to prepare that spoiler edition too. I don't know how much this year that will still be a thing because we're going to be so far ahead of the books that it's not even going to be funny. And George confirmed that he's not going to have the books out by the series air date. So
wow,
yeah, that'll be a good topic for discussion. Fern NYC from 17 mentioned on my What Dreams May Come podcast I had a baby girl on the way. Well, here she is. Arrived on 2/23 in 5 months when my wife goes back to work. We have a decision on childcare. My question for you both is which route should we choose, daycare or house nanny? Whew. These are definitely pros and cons to both. My wife and I both have full-time jobs and don't have any family to help out. With our first daughter, who's 5 now, we put her in daycare, but that daycare was where my wife works in a government building, so it was safe and convenient. It's now not an option this time around. I have zero experience because my ex did not work, and I did before Jack went to school. I put him with I guess it was a mom that lived right next door, and she was friends with one of the women I worked with, and she watched like a bunch of kids at the headquarters that I worked at, and she had a really great rep, and like she was literally right next door. I could actually go out, look out the side window of the building, and see them playing in the yard and stuff. And she's really reasonable, and she only watched him like 2 or 3 days a week, and I worked usually half days those days. So I don't really have a super lot of advice.
Quit your job. Quit your job, stay at home with the kid. There you go.
I'm assuming that you guys are making enough money that obviously that's because this. I mean, sometimes if you're in a low and middle income, like the full-time daycare, it's like it's essentially you're writing your entire paycheck over.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you guys have done the cost.
Here's what you do: quit your job and start a daycare service. There you go.
And
problem solved.
You'll have to podcast it, broadcast. You do 24/7
live streaming 4-year-olds.
Yeah, Kidcast.
There you go.
It's coming soon on the Bald Move Network.
I mean, it is. I'm not going to say
that's our future quitter pitching.
It's not a lot of work having 30, 40 kids. I mean, how many can you pack in? How many does a typical daycare handle?
I don't know. 30, 40 kids, you're just going to be making peanut butter and jellies all day.
Yeah,
you have to have another person in to actually watch them.
The Earl's house.
Yeah. Because we had a woman at our congregation that just watched tons of kids,
right? And
it wasn't a high quality daycare, but it was cheap.
They survived,
She loved them.
The only real prerequisite.
Yeah,
don't kill kids.
I see what you're worried about because either one, like you always hear these horror stories about like daycare, but on the other hand, they always sensationalize that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It would suck if your kid got put into daycare to get condemned by the state and it's a big scandal. But what are the odds that it happens?
I mean, try and do some research,
right?
Into the daycare.
Ask for references. Talk to the parents. See what they think.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, do you have a friend? Because that's the other thing. Like living in Cincinnati, I still don't have a good friend network.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel your pain, man. And once again, the Aaron Advice Show strikes out twice in one podcast. You got stuff.
Oh, I have all kinds of stuff.
All right.
Dan Holt links a article about a new Amazon show from Matthew Weiner.
Oh, right.
Called Romanovs.
Oh, I thought this was the David Simon the Deuce about the pornography industry, which
no.
Really excited about.
No, this is like 8-hour-long episodes. I don't know what it's about. Anyway, he says, would we consider covering a Matt Weiner show on good faith alone after Mad Men, or is it something that...
When's his air date? That's the all-important question.
Oh, right. I think this is more of like a just hypothetical sort of... If Matt Weiner had a show and we had the time to cover it, would we pick it up day one?
If the Weiner had a show and we had time to pick it up, I probably would.
Yeah,
Like his one and only thing he's ever done is Mad Men. He cut his teeth on The Sopranos, moved on to Mad Men, crushed it out of the park.
Both of those are great,
he's been off the air for a couple of years. If he's got something that he wants to bring, and it's on the, I've heard of this. This is about the last Tsar family in Russia.
Okay.
That I think would be pretty fascinating, and a different kind of historical piece. So
and I trust him to produce a good show. So.
I would be inclined to give that kind of day one coverage.
Yeah.
So. Same thing with David Simon when he comes out to Deuce. If it's conducive to our schedule, then hell yeah, he's David fucking Simon.
Right.
Texas Sandman. I got on the club membership train about 6 months ago and finally started going through the back catalog of Lunch with Jim and Aaron. I feel obligated to share my who shit the sink story.
Oh no.
I was in choir summer camp back in high school. We all stayed in the same college dorms for a week, so about 30 or 40 teenage guys are all using a community bathroom. Well, on day 3, we get pulled out of our rooms at about 1 a.m. and marched out into the parking lot. Who shit the shower? Someone had dropped a steaming deuce right in the middle of the showers, and so the camp staff, all college students, proceeded to make us clean the parking lot as they berated the shower shitter. They called his mother a whore, called him a caveman, said they were going to rub his nose in his own shit, etc. They kept us in the parking lot for about a half hour before the camp director made them let us go to bed. The next morning, we were missing a fellow camper. He had apparently gone to the director early in the morning and turned himself in.
Wow.
And so the legend of the shower shooter was born.
Man, if he had just stuck to his guns and not admitted it.
That's right.
He would have got away with it.
But you know what? He learned a lesson about being a man, owning your shit. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing about the shit. The whole thing that's funny about shit in the sink is you didn't actually shit the sink.
Right.
If you commit and shit the sink, it's no longer funny. It's an act of vandalism. It's a crime against humanity.
Right.
People that ostensibly you love and respect. So, but yeah, I mean, I think this is partially inspired because I've seen someone shit a water fountain at a mall.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a brave one. That's an
indoor
inside
mall?
job. Yep.
That
Greenwood
is
Mall.
a true inside job.
I think that's someone getting there at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, dropping trowels, squatting and shitting
Holy
before anyone
shit.
gets there. I've seen someone shit in the middle of a convenience store bathroom, like not in the stall, just like right in the middle of the floor. It's a bad scene. I don't understand that. Like that's a very hateful thing to do. I think to make someone else clean up your shit. That's gross.
Yeah, I just saw like maybe the nastiest place on earth is a Bob Evans bathroom. Because
you need to get hit up some more truck stops.
No, but hear me out.
The Midwest.
You when you go into a Bob Evans, you have to notice. The first thing you notice is that 90% of the people there are over the age of 90.
Okay, it's God's waiting room, sure.
Right, and you're taking people who probably don't have the best bowels to begin with. They've got old bowels that are stressed to their limits.
So old.
And now you're fitting in.
Too old to begin the bowling process.
You're packing in all this dense, greasy gravy and fried chicken.
Yeah, it gets it moving.
It really does. And I went into the bathroom at a Bob Evans the other day, and the whole back wall and upper portion of the toilet was just covered in shit. Just a spray of shit.
That's unfortunate.
For me.
Yeah. For you.
Luckily, there were 2 stalls. But
did you report it to the authorities?
I did not. No.
See, why didn't you?
Well, they should be checking. They should be checking an hour.
Sure.
I feel like if a Bob Evans is not hourly checking their bathroom for shit-covered walls,
you could have walked in on
failing.
a freshly shit scene, man. Do your civic duty. Report it.
It didn't smell like it. It smelled like it had been there a while.
All right. It's a gray area. It's a brown area.
Sure is.
Garth Gow. This is more of a podcasting question. I hear on many podcasts the casters say we are running really long. Let's wrap this up, or a variety of some sort. Is there a real problem with running too long, or is it more because the casters are trying to finish things up?
Yeah, absolutely not. If you look at our podcast, sometimes they're an hour 15, sometimes they're 2.5. There is no runtime on podcasts. The only runtime that's imposed is by some perceived audience problem with runtime.
I have seen it said as its fact that podcasts should be not more than 30 or 60 minutes.
Wrong.
Because
Absolutely wrong.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like your podcast should be as long as they need to be, no more.
Yeah, content.
Yeah.
Like, do you have the content to fill the time? And if you don't, your podcast is too long. If you didn't get through all the really juicy, good content,
right,
your podcast is too short.
Now, sometimes when we say we're running long, because sometimes we have hard outs, we got to get out of here, which I always hate. Like, I try to avoid that as much as possible. Sometimes when we're saying we're running long, it's like we're aware of the fact that maybe we've started on the content treadmill and we need to get off because we've belabored a point, or too many similar emails, or it's like we're kind of internally editing. But I think a lot of people, like, if you go into one of these professional podcasting groups, quote unquote, and you ask that question, you will get 1 million people insisting that, it shouldn't be, like bite-sized chunks and all this stuff. And it's all bullshit. So those people are genuinely probably like, oh no, we're hitting on the mythical commute time.
Oh, right.
If the person's getting off their bus stop and they're gonna shut us off and never get back to us, and like, who cares?
What? Some people have a 10-minute commute. Some people have an hour and a half.
Right.
So
Exactly.
You can't hit everybody's sweet
You're
spot.
trying to design a podcast to last the average commute. What the hell does that mean?
Right.
So anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. You got another one?
Sure. I feel like we've done these before. No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm skipping them.
Turfer from Norway got fed up with waiting for me to do The Wire and gave up and watched it and thought it was amazing. and essentially wants to ask if we were planning on covering David Simon's The Deuce. I think we coincidentally gave that coverage.
Sure.
It's all about, I don't think it even has a release date, so it's all about when it comes out. But I tell you what, I will watch it and do a Bald Move TV on it regardless.
Okay.
Lizzie ABCDEFG from UK. My baby daughter Ripley has gotten to the age where she gets upset if I leave her line of sight. One solution I found for this is leaving a Bald Move podcast playing, and it keeps her pretty chill. She especially responds to Jim's voice, particularly when he gives an exasperated Jesus. Do kids normally respond to Jim like this, or is my kid going to grow up with the steely logic and heart of ice?
Yeah, I'm afraid that's the outcome here.
I don't know. I tried to, because I try to actively keep you from having to interact, because when we're living together, I tried to make it that you didn't have to interact with Jack as much as possible, because I figured that would be something that you would not enjoy doing. Because he was also always wanting to be in your shit.
Was he?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's some dude living with the dad, and he plays video. Yeah,
right. Who the hell is that?
Yeah, he's totally wanting to be up in her shit.
You
guys shared a bedroom wall and a bathroom, so.
Yeah, I feel like kids are fine once they get to like the age where you can actually talk to them.
Right.
Like adults.
Yeah, he was like 2, 3, 4 years old back then.
Right. And then, yeah, it's like, oh, God, you got a tiny little baby hanging around.
You got a soothing baby-ready voice, Jim.
I guess so.
You ever going to put that to use?
When I start my daycare, yeah.
He did not go. He was not going to be state accredited.
No.
Any reputable, yeah.
You'd be lucky to get PB&J.
Yeah.
My daycare.
What is into J? That's what I want to know. Let's see. Flash Gordon wants to know, what is each of our favorite movie directors? Do you have a favorite movie director?
Favorite director of all time?
Like, I guess, like, no. I mean, I've got this is like.
Yeah, it's impossible to pick your favorite.
Yeah, like always ask me in terms of a top 5, because like my favorite, it's hard for me to narrow down. Like Nolan's a must see,
Kubrick's out
Cohen's
there.
a must see. I'm talking about living directors. Spielberg's a must see.
A lot of Coppola stuff.
Both of the Andersons, PTA and Wes Anderson, are both must sees. That Charlie Villanova, the guy who did Arrival, is getting there.
Yeah. Who's the guy who does the crazy audacious visuals? Is that
Guillermo del Toro?
No. Shit, is it Cuarón or?
Oh yeah. The guy who did Gravity.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's one of my must sees. Yeah, I don't know.
There's some people that I've gotten tired of. Guy Ritchie,
Peter Jackson.
Peter J. Yeah, he's really kind of shit the bed, but I don't blame him for The Hobbit. I'm waiting for him to come back around. I
blame him for The Hobbit.
He didn't want to do a three.
Then he should have said, "I'm not doing The Hobbit."
Well, when someone backs up $1 billion outside your back door and says, "Oh yeah, do you still not want to do it?"
Yeah, I mean, he already got $1 billion, didn't he, for Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
What's another $1 billion?
Good question. Al from Ohio. Aaron, I know you've toured of. You taken
the guy who does the Simon Pegg, Nick Frost stuff, Edgar Wright. Absolute awesome director.
Totally.
He might be one of my favorites. One of.
Totally.
Not the
in
favorite.
The top 5?
Yeah, definitely.
Top 7? Aaron, I know you've sort of taken a break from Destiny recently, but what are your feelings on Bungie making the decision to not transfer your powers, possessions, and Eververse-related items and currency from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2? I thought about this because the pitch was you'd have this character that you'd take through 10 years, and it sounds like they're going to allow you to keep whatever your character looks like, which I haven't seen any of my characters' faces for years. Like, as soon as they allowed to keep the helmet on in all social spaces, I've never taken it off. So I guess I don't care, because I am bummed that some of the emblems, like the year, like your moments of triumph, the things that like I would love to be able in Destiny 2 day one to rock my old guard shader and my year one moments of triumph to be like, hey bitches, I was here from day one. Mm-hmm. But it's not like, to be honest, I would wear that for like 1 or 2 days until the next cool thing came along and I'd switch to that. Like my characters change how they look every damn expansion because they get new armor and new weapons and whatnot, and I just and also it's like the older I get, the harder it is to give a shit that much about video games. Like, is it still going to play awesome? Am I still going to feel like a badass space cowboy or pirate or warlock? Yeah, okay, then I'm down for it. If not, if the shooting's off or if the raid mechanics suck, then it's going to be disappointing. But and the thing is, I think this is a trial balloon because there is no goddamn reason that they can't port over your shaders and your emblems. It's like you're talking about these little bitmap images and a color chroma thing that they apply to your armor. Like, if enough people bitch about it, I can't imagine why they wouldn't allow you to take that stuff over. Eververse, that's, like, that happens in all the games, though. Like, you get Call of Duty 1 stickers for your armor. They don't carry over to Call of Duty 2. So, like, I don't know why people assume that just because you spent money customizing your character, that shit would be in the entire 10-year history of Destiny. Again, this is me as a 40-year-old man saying, like, seriously? Seriously. You spent $5 to look cool. You got to look cool for a year or two. Spend $5 more to look cool. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what promises were made. And I don't know what promises they did make, but if they said, hey, all of this stuff will carry over to Destiny 2, and then they said, hey, none of this stuff will carry over to Destiny 2. This is
like pre-release. You're going to go on this epic Destiny, your character's going to go through this 10-year arc. What does that mean?
Yeah,
like, it's certainly not anything.
That's exactly what I mean.
Any kind of legally binding thing. So,
yeah.
They also. He wants to know: have you tried Moe's Southwest Grill?
No.
Because we talked about Chipotle, and it's okay, but I still think Chipotle is the best. And is there an easy way to edit your username on the forum to match the Bald Move site? Nope. The software just doesn't allow you to do that. Now, if you email support@baldmove.com real nice, and tickle Jim's undercarriage just right, he might take care of it for you. Maybe. He might have to take care of it for you.
We'll see.
I went Sicilian for some reason. Okay. Let's see what else we got. iMaddie94. What do you feel is the best way to promote a podcast? I was considering telling my family to tell their friends, etc., about my podcast so it could spread the word, but I'm very concerned about what my family will say, considering a few family members think I watch too much TV and play too many video games. Man, oh, Jesus, my advice is going to be 0 for 3 this week. We got lucky with iTunes. We got in right at the hot time for the TV niche, where we had an incredibly hot show that was just catching real fire and Breaking Bad. There was only 2 other podcasts, including the official one, when we started doing it, and everybody wanted to talk about this hot show, and we just rode that monkey's back until it landed us on the banana tree. And then we feasted on those bananas, and then
we cut down the tree and used it to build a house.
Then we parlayed that into The Walking Dead, which 20 million people ended up watching.
Yeah,
and then we parlayed that into Mad Men, which but definitely niche-y and a passionate fan base. And we parlayed that into Game of Thrones, which is crazy bananas and the best thing you can be. And now, like, after that first year, that path we blazed, we kind of been cruising. Like, if you search any of our shows, like blah, 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 show name, podcast, in Google or iTunes, we're going to be the first page results, often the first to top 3.
Yeah, at this point, I feel like I kind of understand what it is to be, like, a wealthy person, right? Where, like, your previous success just feeds into any future success. And, and you don't even really have to try that hard to get a huge advantage over the people who are just starting out.
Right.
Like me trying to invest my money in the stock market is a fool's errand because I'm making $20 at a time.
Right.
You know, Bill Gates throwing $600 million into something.
Boom, he just made $200 million more.
Right. Yeah. And then he pumps it back in and he makes more. And it's like,
and
that's
also
where
that
we're
stuff
standing.
is taxed way less than you cashing a paycheck at your job.
Right. And that's exactly where we are with the podcasting. You know, we have a reputation already, so it becomes very easy to just put something out there and people to find it.
Our best advice is always to find a niche that no one else is at.
Yeah.
That has got that's popular, and like,
which essentially we're telling them, get lucky.
Well, no, I mean,
be interested enough in a thing that's about to become popular,
right?
And you'll have success. That's just a huge luck factor.
But that's the fact. That's the dirty little secret of the American dream, is that you can work hard and be diligent and hone your craft, and you do require a bit of luck. It's not all hard work. There's tons of hardworking people that fail.
Maybe the
because
UK
they don't
is something
get
different.
Noticed, huh?
I think Maddie's over in the UK.
I mean,
maybe,
do they have
maybe the UK dream is different.
They got socialized podcasting.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, you pay in for podcasting insurance.
Basic guaranteed downloads.
Yeah, and someone that's trying to get into video games right now it's going to be tough.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough because you're going to be the 1 millionth white dude trying to talk about video games.
The other thing,
now, if you have a perspective, like if there's still room for like niche perspectives in TV, like if you're, you're, I don't know, you're gay or you're black or you've got some kind of unique perspective on a piece of television, or you want to cover a segment that you think you can speak intelligently to, or you got something about like a social issue that you want to bring
Vince
to
Gilligan.
it.
If you're Vince Gilligan,
if you're famous, but that's the thing. You got to find the niche that you're both passionate about and is going to give you a chance. Now, there might be other magic marketing techniques that you can use to game the system a bit. I don't know what they are, and I've seen people say like, "Oh, if you do this on YouTube, you do this on Facebook," but it seems like bullshit to me. Mm-hmm. And they're also wanting you to pay to attend their seminar to teach you how to do it, and that's always a red flag.
Right.
So, but I would really. Because I know you've only started this podcast a couple months ago, and I would bet that you're not totally solid on it. I would just keep toiling in obscurity until you're satisfied with what you got, and then try to get attention.
Oh yeah, as far as like quality wise, sure. Right.
But unless you have thousands of friends and family, it's not going to make a difference. Like telling all your friends and family, because that's no. You mean, so like let's say you tell 50 people, and now you got 100 people listening to you.
Yeah.
Is that what you want? Is that like because that's the other thing is we never tried to be successful. It wasn't our goal when we started podcasting.
Here's what you do. I've got an idea for you.
Okay.
You go to everyone you know, your family, your friends, teachers or people at your job, and you throw a party. You throw a big party for them all. You say there's going to be Chipotle burritos there. Come on by the house between this time and this time on this date. We're all going to hang out. So you get your group of, let's say 250 people. And then the unannounced admittance fee is that they leave you a 5-star iTunes review. So they walk through the door, you watch them go on their phone and leave you a 5-star review. You might hit new and noteworthy there, and you might actually move the needle.
You need hundreds.
You would need hundreds
in the space of a week or two.
I think you could do it.
Because that's the other thing. Like new and notable, like in your first 6 to 8 weeks of podcast, you have to get several hundred people liking, subscribing, and rating your podcast.
That's why. You make it an event.
Right.
And you don't really tell them beforehand.
Right.
Because no one would show up for that event. But
right. And there's all kinds. There's like I said, there's people giving tips like we've always found contests to be.
But we don't do them. I mean, we've done one,
them and
right,
we've
but
done multiple.
But here's the thing: if we were to do one-off podcasts about a thing every once a year or something, no one would be listening.
Right.
So no one participates in contests. We're not known for contests.
But that's what I'm saying. It seems like you are courting the wrong type of listener. You're courting the second that you stop doing contests, then they're going to stop listening. And you're encouraging people to just mine the code word they need out of your podcast. Like I don't know. It feels like Grouponing of podcasts. Like a lot of people do Groupons, and a lot of people did it wrong, and it got them in more trouble.
I mean, there is an interesting feedback loop there. If you can get enough people to sign on for the contest that you're doing, and listen to the show and download it, then you get the numbers that you can go to, manufacturers or whoever and say, hey, I've got this many people, can you give me the products? And then you give those away and it feeds back into itself. There's a way to do that. It's just, I'm sure it's not easy.
Walking distance, I've seen you guys drink a lot and talk a good bit about Scotch whiskey. What's your personal favorites?
I mean, I just discovered like my favorite whiskey that I've ever had was during I don't think you can even buy this anymore.
I think it's out too. Yeah.
I picked up 4 bottles of it when the Invergordon 25 year. Yeah,
so good. So good.
It's from that boutique whiskey company. It's batch number 9, and it's
there's only like 1,000 bottles available.
And I was expecting they were going to be hundreds of dollars per bottle. They were $55.
Yeah.
So I picked up 4. I'm like, fuck it. I haven't touched it yet.
Right.
My plan is to just keep those essentially for the rest of my life. drinking them sporadically here and there. But
it outdrinks $105 bottle of Lagavulin, which is probably my second favorite. Like that's like drinking liquid gold. If you want to treat yourself to an occasional really fine glass of Scotch whiskey, that's my recommendation.
For something you can buy on the regular too, right?
Yeah, like, and then like my date, like the thing I drink the most is Johnny Walker Double Black,
right?
Because it's in the it's kind of in the $40 range, and and I still don't. I mean, mostly I drink
Jim Beam.
This is the Bald Move official whiskey, or it's bourbon whiskey. Jim Beam.
Yeah,
like you can get like this gallon jug for like $35. And you can drink it neat. You can drink it ice. It's not too good to mix with Coke. This is our daily alcohol.
That's our utility whiskey.
Our utility, like when a particularly good television, a particularly thing, we get out the Johnny Walker, and when like like the season finale, the leftovers rolls around, we get out the Invergordon or the Lagavulin.
Right.
So
yeah, I drink Makers at home. That's kind of my utility because I really like bourbon, and
that's the thing.
Jim Beam is bourbon, but
I prefer Jim Beam to almost everything, and even $10 to $15 more than its price range.
Huh. Okay.
I just think it's the America's hidden secret.
Yeah.
It's not probably that hidden. Wondered Object. How often do you guys see movies together in theaters?
For non-job related stuff, like once every, like maybe twice a year or something.
I mean, that's the thing. Like we used to see movies all the time.
Yeah.
When we were just living together, having fun as bachelors. Now it's like mostly, and now that we live apart,
right?
Like you're going to a theater that's, and I'm going to a theater that's like within 5, and then we just meet after the fact. So like, and I'm fine with that. I don't feel like I got a lot out of the watching the movie with Jim experience in real life.
It's more like you go to that for the before and after, but our after now is podcast.
The podcast, right?
And we can't talk about the movie until we get to the podcast.
Right.
So, like, we would have the before to hang out and chat, which is cool.
We've done that since we were kids. Like, it was always you go see the movie and then you go to Steak and Shake, or you go to fucking Perkins, or you go to wherever and you talk about the movie for an hour or two. So that's been like we've been we've been prepping for this our whole lives.
Unbeknownst to us. Yeah.
Right. And I just like my personal Facebook thing is like I remember the first time someone had paid us to watch Star Wars, and I said if I could send a telegraph back in time to tell 8-year-old me someone would pay you $300 to watch Star Wars and talk about it, I would have shit and gone blind because that's the dream. That is the fucking dream.
And we'd probably be like Harry Knowles or something, right? Because like. Imagine how much earlier you would have started trying that.
Right.
If you knew that was your eventual outcome.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, 17-year-old me probably would have been like, yep, let's get a fucking blog. Let's do this upright.
I mean, that's one of the big regrets I had is like, I kind of wish I'd started this earlier because I think of like, but then again, like, maybe we got lucky and we'd have been like, oh, fuck this and gone on to something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tara C. I saw a couple kids last week knocking on doors in nice weather. The white shirt, black name tag kids, which I don't think are J-Dubs, probably Mormons.
Yep.
But I idly wondered, what does Jehovah think of masturbation? As Catholics, we are taught it's a sin, and you'll most likely go blind and maybe even grow hair on your palms. Yeah, Jehovah, not a big fan of onanism.
No, he is not.
Masturbation. It's like there's lurid articles like there used to be in the magazine The Awake. There'd be these young people ask, and every year it's like, what do I do about the shame of masturbation?
Right.
And it's like, well, I didn't know it was something to be ashamed of, but now I do. Shit, what do I do about it? And it's like, and then also I have lyrics like breaking free from the chains of masturbation. There'd be this guy like breaking chains, and it's just like, and and it's like there's these stories of like, oh, my wife, caught me masturbating to internet porn, and now our marriage is ending. And I'm just like, these are all fucking problems you guys have all caused yourselves.
Yep.
By being closed-minded prudes about it. But no, it's certainly probably the most broken of all of the transgressions. Those kind of like transgressions against God, that's probably the most frequently broken, and just don't talk about it.
Right.
So let's see. Aaron 2442, what do you think the terms liberal and conservative mean to you in a political context in general and specifically in the US?
I mean, it should be essentially big government, small government, but like,
I don't even think that's
it gets so confused nowadays.
You break down, conservatives are hesitant to do new things in policy. The way we've done things have gotten us safe and healthy to this point. Something new might fuck up. And liberals are like, why are we doing this old thing? We should plunge ahead. And in a healthy society, you have a good mix of both those people, because if you have just people plunging ahead willy-nilly, that's disaster. And if you have people that are too calcified to change, that's bad as well. But in this country, it's all tied up in religion, and being conservative means a lot of things that are very contradictory in terms of what I understand Christianity to be, and in terms of taking care of your neighbor and the poor and the sick. And it's a damn shame, and it's a constant frustration. I don't got anything against classical conservatism. And I don't have anything against like people wanting to have a strong foreign policy and people to want to have fiscal sanity in the government. But those types are hard to find nowadays. Whereas the liberals still are retaining their like we want to change things all the time and move ahead constantly thing. So it's weird. I feel like it's gotten all fucking topsy-turvy and fucked up.
Yeah.
A-Bear89, what movie are you most looking forward to in 2017? God damn it. I'm terrible at this. Probably.
I mean, the next Star Wars installment?
Yeah. Probably.
That's a big one.
That's a long ways away. Ghost in the Shell, Guardians of the Galaxy. Although I mentioned on the Kong podcast that every time I see a trailer now, I'm like, man, it feels like they're giving away the store. I'm kind of worried that it's not going to be a surprise this time, and it's not, and plus it's carrying all the weight of the other Marvel movies. Like, it's got to set up the Infinity War and this. It's like I'm starting to see the creaks of that part of the Marvel universe. Because that's the thing. Like I pay way more attention to big budget shit than small budget shit. So there might be. I think I heard something Scorsese's doing that sounded really exciting, but I can't. I'm like a gerbil brain. I can't hold it in my mind for very long.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard of that.
Let's see. This is a good one. SV Carlos. Any chance of an audio only feed for the live recordings? I'd like to listen to them sometimes, but it kills my phone battery. Would you like to speak to that?
Audio only feed. So he's talking about live audio.
Yeah, for lunch, for our live recordings.
Yes, we've messed around with Mixler, which is a live streaming audio service. We just didn't have a great way to integrate it into the website, and we didn't advertise it because we were testing it out, and like nobody used it, and we kind of got busy again, and just haven't messed with it in a while.
It's certainly a solvable problem, and something that we are going to. That's probably our overarching. I mean, that'd be something that'd be cool to build into the app,
right? So
that you'd actually get a notification when we go live, and you can choose whether you want the audio or video feed. Like, that's certainly on our punch list of features. So, I would imagine we would have something like that going before too long. I'll take this one. Jack D65. Do either of you have a brother named Todd? No.
Nope.
I do have a cousin named Todd out in California. So if you know him, he's a cool dude. I like him.
I don't think I've ever known a Todd. Period. No friends, no family.
You're the poor for it.
Maybe. I wouldn't know.
Somo from Nottingham says, our Sumu, on your meetup, have you ever considered doing a GoPro or having a Facebook Live for like 10 minutes of it so we could see the meetup?
I mean, you could see it, but the audio would be just, terrible.
Yeah. Maybe a Periscope would be fun. Because the other thing is
a little Periscope.
If it's like only 5 people show up, that'll be lame, and I'll disavow the event, and I'll say it never happened. If
I'll eat the other 15 burritos.
And it'll be chug. Have a funnel set up, and it's just going to be this monstrous thing.
Burrito tube.
Yeah, it's kind of like
I essentially am a burrito tube.
Only instead of leeches, it'll be burritos.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Because the other thing is, like, a lot of times I've thought about doing that, but then, and you're in the moment and you're dealing with all these people, and it's like I haven't got the instinct of like, hey, let's whip out. And you'll see that in, like, even on my, like, I do these incredible, awesome things all the time. like, you know, riding motorcycles and sailing boats and cutting down forest shit. And like, I
You're
never
cutting
have
down forests.
Yeah,
Is that what I just heard
I
you
do.
say?
Yeah, come at me, Mr. Plant or Captain Planet.
Cutting down.
Come on,
Oh,
Don Cheadle. Or you know, whatever. And like my instinct, if I
murdering baby seals.
There you go. And my instinct, probably for the good, is not to just whip out my phone and document it.
Oh
Cecily's
yeah, if you're clear cutting forests, yes, please don't document that.
But you know what I'm saying? Like there's some people that like every time they do whatever they document it. I have to really think about it. And
yeah, I'm not that guy either.
Cecily's a lot better at it. So maybe, and since Cecily will be there, maybe, you know, check out Instagram.
Sure.
And maybe we'll do something like that.
Yeah. It would be cool. Maybe we can Periscope a Street Fighter game between you and I or something. That'd be sweet.
I had a JW come calling regular after I told him I'm all for gay rights and being treated equally, and that he inspired me to start giving blood. He said this would be the last time he'd come calling. There you go.
All right.
That's another way to do it, I guess.
Well, he gave up.
Yeah.
Most JWs will not just give up like that.
And that's the thing is like, you got you were a return visit for this guy. Mm-hmm. He was marking you down on his tally sheet every month, and he decided you were never going to be a Jehovah's Witness. So he got the goat stamp out.
Yeah.
Put the sheep stamp away, stamped the goat, and moved on.
You will get more Jehovah's Witnesses showing up, just not that guy.
Yeah, probably.
Well,
it could be 6 months to a year, but depending on how worked your territory is. But Keela 15 wants to know, have you ever been to Europe?
No.
Me either. Definitely
I want to go.
On my bucket list. Yeah. And if I had to, like, I want to go to Rome. Like that's my prime destination, and then probably Paris, because I'm all about art and architecture. Ones, yeah. And then probably England, London specifically, and then like, you know, it'd be awesome to take a grand Mediterranean tour. And if I retire, it'd be awesome to take a boat over there and do it in style. But
yeah,
we'll see how much money I end up making over the course of the rest of my life. Okay, let's see. This is the last one, and I'm caught up. Texas 123. The recent mortgage discussions have caught my attention because I'm actually working on a new mortgage model that some idiots like me and also some smart economists think could help limit the damage from a future housing crisis and help people who lose equity in their home. Interesting. Basically, if housing prices in your hood go down, your payments go down proportionally, leaving more money in your pocket, and you never have to pay the difference. In exchange, the lender gets 10% of any appreciation on your home when you sell it, hopefully after the housing market has recovered. So in both good and bad economies, your lender cares more about the value of your home, which we think is probably a good thing. Also, you have more money when your local economy is hurting and you've just lost some of your savings in your home. The big people is getting people to consider the idea that in real America, I live in New York City, understandably not a lot of trust for strange mortgage ideas is there after the crisis. I saw a lot of good people suffer in bad mortgages while the financial sector got bailed out. I guess on a larger scale, the question is how to help people see the benefit in something new when the old ways are so ingrained. I'm wondering if you've given thoughts, given your thoughts on the home buying experience and thoughts from either of you, and given your interest in human nature, if we have any thoughts about this proposal.
I don't have any experience buying homes.
Yeah.
I'm worried about possible collusion. If you're incentivizing the prices of housing to go up,
right,
then you might incentivize them to artificially go up,
right?
But I don't know.
Yeah, and that's a problem with a lot of social policy is you got to hit the sweet spot between helping people out and making them reliant. Because even like I'm an ardent liberal, but I wouldn't be for giving everyone in America $1 million a year. Because no one, why would the vast majority of people are not going to do anything useful because there's no but guaranteed basic income. So you don't have to worry about food and your health care and keeping a roof over your head and basic utilities. And then if you want more, you go out and do any kind of work. Like, you know, if you want whatever, like that's something I get down for. I forget what they call that. There's an economic thing like moral hazards, where your policy that you to try to help people ends up incentivizing bad behavior.
Right.
Like the moral hazard of this would be, you'd have people colluding on superficially trashing properties or maybe decreasing property value so they can move in and make money on it and then pump it up.
Right.
And I don't know how, I haven't thought about this long enough to, and also the other thing about it is it seems like this would work better if the country rose and falls separately, like you had an isolated pocket of downturn and the rest of the country was up. But it seems like, in my experience, when the housing bubble bursts, yeah, it starts on the coast and kind of collapses inwards, but it's not like 5 to 10 years later. It happens pretty quick. So like everybody would be up and then everybody be down, and you'd have to make sure that when the times are up, everybody's putting that money into something that they can, then survive the downturn. But, and then the other thing is every American thinks they're going to get rich. And if you tell them that you want 10% of their cut to help them when they're going to be down, they're going to tell you go fuck themselves because they want that 10%. One of the perverse things is a lot of poor people are against progressive policies because, they don't want any more taxes taken out of their paycheck. I mean, because when they get to be rich, they want to be able to take advantage of the same. I mean, I don't understand that. I don't understand that psychology. I've heard it talked about a lot, but I think you have a lot of people be like, "Fuck, you're going to take my 10% of my house appreciation. This is my home, and I worked hard on it, and I did everything right, and fuck you."
Yeah. What was the first part of this to limit depreciation?
When houses appreciate, lenders get 10% of the appreciation.
Right.
And then when the housing area depreciates, your house payments degrade with those. You're not locked into paying top hot real estate dollar even if the market's cooled off.
So nobody gets, under this scenario, nobody would get fucked in the way that you're talking about, right?
Yeah, but people don't look at it that way. Because people always think that they're optimum actors. They're always going to make smart choices and never make bad choices, and they're always going to have good luck and never have bad luck.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when they have bad luck, they scream because they need to be bailed out or whatever. So, anyway, that's it for lunch. Another 90-minute lunch. I don't know how much longer we can keep doing these stretch lunches. We're going to and I don't know how to choose topics and whatnot, because the other thing is like, sometimes I'm going to want to talk for 20, 30, 40 minutes with Jim about something, and then that even leaves less time for, that's how we got, like, we had one lunch where we had 45 minutes of discussion, and then we didn't get to Q&A, and I don't know how to fix that, because this is quickly going to be, even if we added another lunch to the week, we're going to just, it's kind of like
this is
Game
a scaling
of Thrones.
problem.
You get 1,000 emails and you can't read them all, right?
This is a scaling problem we are experiencing across the board.
Yes.
It's not just lunch. It's not just questions. It's not just responding to emails. It's everything we do. We have scaling problems here, and we're trying to figure out how to deal with those as best we can, just as two dudes. So
right. One way to scale up some of this stuff is like to get more dudes, and that's something we're working on. But still, like, the lunch is a finite resource, and we're never going to, as it gets more and more popular, the old days of everybody being able to be read every week, I don't know how, because already, like, I've been late to picking up my kid and stuff on Fridays because we just run out of time. And I know, like I said, we could do another lunch or do like a cocktails or do a live event.
But even still, that doesn't solve the problem. It's a stopgap.
Yeah, that's temporarily adding more capacity, but the core problem remains. So this is the worst part of the job, when you get to the point where the community's grown and been successful to the point that now people are going to have to get, you're going to have to figure out some fair and equitable way to divvy up the attention. But it's something we've had to do several times, and it's not something I'm saying is happening now, but it's happening in the near future. So the good news is that means the club is successful. Bad news is part of what makes it successful is people get their curiosity satisfied, and hopefully that will continue to be the case. So thank you for all your great questions. Again, this continues to be one of my favorite parts of the job. Telling people no, one of the least favorite parts. We have got a bunch of Riverdale stuff to do, and a bunch of stuff happening. We just found out that they had moved Let's Shoot Everybody.
Free Fire. To April 21st.
Subtitled Let's Shoot Everybody to April 21st. So I don't think we have a Bald movie next week, but we do have more Riverdale. We do have, we'll have an Expanse podcast coming out.
Right.
Cecily and I, that's going to be a 3-man Levi, me and Jim podcast. Cecily and I will have the next installment in the Girls podcast on Bald Move TV. More Walking Dead. There will be blood. We've recorded the main part. We're waiting for feedback to come in on that, and more commission podcasts. There's more stuff all the time.
Yeah.
few more weeks until the real content lever just breaks off and sticks right in our ass.
Yep.
And we're not afraid. We're not afraid at all.
No.
We're looking it straight in the eye and said, come get us. So we'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend.